What went on in here? What the? Okay, somebody's in here. Somebody's gotta be in here. No.
Why, hello. Welcome to PdubTV. Today we'll have 3 main segments and 1 mystery segment.
That's going to be the plan for this segment.
Let's get right into it.
Just around the corner, we have another year of making March Madness brackets. Roughly 70 million brackets are filled out each year. People love doing the bracket challenge with their family and friends as a fun little challenge. Now, how rare is it to get a perfect bracket? According to NCAA, people have a 1 in 120 billion chance of getting a perfect bracket each year. Today we are in Palm Westphalia High School and we'll be asking Mr. Portiga what his strategy is going into March Madness.
You know, now that my Wolverines are having their worst year since I feel like I was in college, I've not been into basketball as much this year. I've watched a handful of Michigan games, but it's been pretty rough going. My strategy is always ride the 1 and 2 seeds to about the Elite 8. And then it gets a little goofy from there. Every once in a while there's that 3 seed that sneaks in. And I've been pretty lucky the last couple of years, picking 3 seeds to where they should get to. So we'll see this year. Houston's a dark horse for me.
Okay. How big of a distraction do you think March Madness is to our school and students?
Listen, I cut school one day when I was in school my senior year. One time I cut school. And a bunch of us went to the bowling alley and watched March Madness games. And ever since then, I've always made it a priority. I have a buddy of mine who takes off 2 days of work and watches all the opening round games Thursday and Friday. So it's a thing. I think there's studies out there that shows that there's a solid 20% decline in productivity on those days, which is probably relevant to the size of the population that cares and watches those games. So it's a thing. And I'll keep one eye on it now. I won't cut school, and I hope you don't either, but I'll keep an eye on it.
Thank you, Mr. Portiga. Many people have different strategies going into March Madness, and yet nobody's ever gotten the perfect bracket. Let's see if this year has the first ever one.
What is the process of water turning into vapor called?
Evaporation. I don't know.
Photosynthesis.
I don't know.
Condensation. What is the tallest mammal on Earth?
A giraffe. A human.
What is the process of a caterpillar turning into a butterfly called?
That is outrageous. I don't know that one.
I don't know. I don't know.
Metamorphic something.
What is the hardest mineral?
A rock. A rock. Rock. A rock.
Rock.
A diamond.
What does a paleontologist study?
What even is that?
I have no clue.
I don't know. Rocks.
Pathos. Eat those.
Fossils.
How much is 14 times 5?
Can I have a pen and a paper? Skip. 70 something?
75.
70.
What are you looking at?
6?
56.
205. 205. 70.
70.
What are the 3 states of matter?
I don't know any of these. I have no clue. I don't know. I don't know that one.
I have failed you.
Solid, liquid.
2,000 years later.
Gas.
Solid, liquid, gas.
Liquid, solid, and vapor.
Main borders which U.S. state?
New York.
Vermont. Mexico.
Mexico. Isn't it? Did you guys say New Mexico before? I don't know.
New Hampshire.
School lunches are all something we love and enjoy, but do you know the process the lunch ladies go through to make these delicious meals? In 2010, schools were required to provide more fruits, vegetables, and whole grains for students in order to try to reduce the level of childhood obesity in our country. Today we will be asking the lunch ladies how this affected their process and their school lunches. How has the food at school lunches changed since the change in standards?
We can't have any sugar stuff. Everything has to be whole grain, healthier choices, more fruits, more veggies. As far as drinks, like I said, no sugar in any of the drinks.
What is the process like for making school lunches for so many students?
It is a lot more tedious. Our numbers have doubled since we've started free meals, so we've had to hire an extra person. Obviously, way more food is being made.
Next, we'll be interviewing a student here at PW, Brant White, on his go-to plate at lunch. What's your dream plate when you walk into the school's cafeteria?
Man, the first thing I want to go to is those spicy chicken sandwiches. I mean, those spicy chicken sandwiches got everything I want. But I also like the pasta salad. Apple juice is so clutch. I mean, the apple juice is so yummy, you know what I'm saying? And then I love the peppers too. The peppers always give that zest to it, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Thank you, Brant. Also, thank you to our lunch ladies for all the hard work they do for us.
Next up, we will have myself talking about childhood obesity. Let's head right over.
Good morning, Pirate Nation shipmates. Today we're going to be talking about the rising obesity rates, not only in adults, but in students, children. Let's jump right into it. We're going to be diving into multiple activities today, one of them being physical activity. We will also be diving into what you can do out of school, in school, and of course, what we pick in the lunchroom and how it affects us.
Now, according to students at Harvard, childhood obesity has been identified as one of the most serious public health challenges for the 21st century. Now, according to Medical News Today, over the past 30 years, the rate of childhood obesity has more than doubled in children and quadrupled in adolescents. According to another study done by students at Harvard, weight depends on the number of calories you consume. Now, this brings up a larger topic that we'll get into quite soon. But first, how about we get some background info on possible keywords we'll need to know going into this interview. Now, one of the keywords we need to know here is BMI. Now, BMI is just body mass index. It's a medical screening tool that measures the ratio of your height to your weight to estimate the amount of body fat you have. Now, the next keyword to know is calorie. Now, what is a calorie, you may ask? It's simply just a unit of energy. The last two terms you need to know is caloric surplus and deficit. Surplus is when you have more calories than what your body burns, and a deficit is when you eat less calories than what your body burns.
The first gentleman we're going to have on this show, he's a third year at the University of Michigan, a very smart individual. His name is Tyrone. Tyrone, let's see what you've got.
Do you believe that BMI is a good statistic to base off of for obesity rates?
Personally, I think BMI is a little bit outdated. It's been used in the past, but unfortunately, it doesn't really take into account muscle mass. And so I would think that we need a new metric for considering what is a healthy body weight.
Over the years, as these obesity rates have increased, how do you think the food or diet of these kids has changed?
I really think it's been with the food manufacturing. I think a lot of the companies have removed a lot of the proteins and the fibers from these foods, and they've just increased the sugar content like crazy. This means that the food is less satiating, so you feel less full. And so these kids have to eat more and more food in order to feel the same fullness. So they're increasing their caloric intake without even really realizing it.
Now, when you say caloric intake, what does that mean for these kids?
Yeah, so caloric intake refers to the amount of energy, or in this case calories, from food that are intaken or eaten by these kids versus the amount that is burned or used for energy in order for them to partake in various activities that usually involve movement. And this increased intake only becomes a problem when it's combined with the decreased output in terms of these kids today, they have a more sedentary lifestyle. They aren't outside as much, they don't exercise as much, they don't require as many calories to maintain their body mass. In thermodynamics, a system is in equilibrium when the energy coming into the system is equal to the energy going out of the system. And today, these kids, they have more energy coming in than kids of the past, and they have less energy out than kids from the past. And so this imbalance of energy leads to adding fat to their bodies, which leads to increased body weight.
Oh, thank you for your time, Tyrone. Great job today. Thank you for the information. Have a nice night.